It got the most nominations and wins the BAFTA for Best Picture, but we are not going to see that movie until Oscar night. Because we are still continuing on with guilds today, as this weekend will be the second and third guild award shows that are going to be taking place. The Producers Guild, which will be on Saturday, February 25th, and then on Sunday, February 26th, the 29th Screen Actors Guild Award, which the latter will be not on TNT and TBS. Instead, it will be streaming on Netflix's YouTube channel. Yes, that's right. One of the big major award shows is streaming, not on television, but on YouTube. Something I think we want to see award shows do, because now a lot of people don't usually use cable television unless if like young people demographics like myself would use YouTube to watch anything live. So this is coming fresh off after we saw the Directors Guild, which the Daniels did win, and All Quiet on the Western Front getting the most nominations and wins Best Picture of the BAFTAs, and we are not going to see it for this week or even the following weekend until Oscars week. So, because it's not here at the Producers Guild, so we are not going to know where that movie's at, but it is guaranteed a top 3. And when you win Best Picture of the BAFTAs, with the exception of Nomadland, you're not going to win the Oscar for Best Picture. Which, that's kind of good news for the Banshees of Inisherin, which I'll talk about here in a few seconds. Because that's what we're going to go into right now. First, the first ceremony, and that is the Producers Guild. And we're going to mention here a little bit real quick, there are some special awards going in. Specifically, I would say the two big motion picture awards. The Stanley Kramer Award is going to go to Till, and the David L. Selznick Achievement Award in Theatrical Motion Picture is going to Tom Cruise, since, of course, he produced Top Gun Maverick this year. And it's just odd, just right now, before I predict the movie winners, they already have 2 winners for the television category. I mean, no shock. The children's program for television, the Producers Guild, would no shock to anyone. It would go to Sesame Street every year. That's something. But we're not talking about television. We're talking about the 3 movie categories. As I said, there should be an international category here, so I don't know why they have not done that yet. So we still got documentary and animated picture and regular motion picture in general. So documentary feature, right now, it is a battle between Fire of Love and Nelvani. Fire of Love did win the Directors Guild for Saradosa, and Nelvani won the BAFTA. So I was predicting Fire of Love to win, but I was predicting at the BAFTAs, not Directors Guild, and I was predicting All the Beauty and the Bloodshed for DGA, which is not here, of course. And the only other Oscar nominee other than those 2 is All That Breathes. And this is definitely going to be a big, massive battle between the 2, because this is the last time we're going to see the 2, because All That Breathes most likely will probably win the Spirit, unless if it's All the Beauty and the Bloodshed or A House Made of Splinters, but we won't get into that till next week. So they could go with the guilds, and then we have a 2v2 battle, but I am going to say, after the BAFTA resurgence, and I'm going to say Nelvani. And for animated theatrical motion picture, Guillermo del Toro's Pinocchio. And it's also, by the way, Annie's weekend, so either one way or another, they're going to go heavily biased, and they might go in their cartoon community levels with Puss in Boots' Last Wish, maybe. But yeah, the Annies are basically now the Tony Awards for the movie awards season. So, but in terms of the animated ones for both movies and TV. And now the Daryl Z. F. Zanuck Award for Best Theatrical Motion Picture. Now, as I have just stated, if you win the BAFTA for Best Picture, you're basically going to lose the Oscar for Best Picture. Because with the exception of Nomadland, every other film from Boyhood all the way up to The Power of the Dog have done that. And that's not good news for All Quiet on the Western Front, and not to mention not also getting in for director and film editing at the Oscars. and it's nowhere at the Guilds. And I still think right now it is a open air battle, I would say, between both the Banshees of Inisherin and Everything Everywhere All at Once. Now, the Daniels have guaranteed winning director no matter what. That's basically done. But the picture race might not. As we saw also the BAFTAs, they really went big on Banshees. We all thought it was going to be pitcher, but they went with Barry Keoghan. Kerry Condon was expected and original screenplay, but there's a massive question mark about Banshees. And I am still going to say Everything Everywhere All at Once still, but it's like Banshees is a threat to win anything it can this weekend. This could be its chance to try to overshadow Everything Everywhere All at Once to see where it is. The biggest question mark will be, of course, the Writers Guild, because McDonough is not a member there. And that's why Banshees is not nominated over there. But if we see like Banshees wins PGA and getting ahead of ourselves, SAG Ensemble, and maybe even Kerry Condon gets an individual win over there, there is a possibility Banshees might win. If Everything Everywhere All at Once loses at WGA. But it is still an open the air battle right now. So because with Banshee not winning pitcher at the BAFTAs, that's kind of a bit of a tongue twister, I would almost. It could now have a chance to win the Oscar, and it's kind of like the runner-up. And Banshees could more likely have a higher chance than Three Billboards did, because Banshees does have McDonough in for director when he didn't get in the last time for Three Billboards. But I am still going to say Everything Everywhere All at Once, and it's kind of like Banshees is going to kind of fall in the Three Billboards route, although it might not win anything, but it all depends on how SAG goes. In terms of just like screenplay and picture, like Everything Everywhere All at Once is kind of like, it only won picture so far, a Critics' Choice. That's the same thing, I believe, with The Shape of Water. And that's where, and then The Shape of Water, of course, won PGA and the Oscar. Three Billboards won the Globe. Shape of Water lost, which beat The Shape of Water for picture drama. And Banshees beat Everything Everywhere at Once at the Globes for picture comedy or musical. As I said, the major difference is that McDonough has him for director at the Oscars, which still could help Banshees might win, but I am still saying Everything Everywhere All at Once. So anything Banshees is up for this weekend is a threat. And that's where we're coming into for SAG for the Screen Actors Guild. And that's where the massive question is the Banshees of Inisherin going to overthrow Everything Everywhere All at Once of these guilds? And one of the categories that will determine that, other than PGA, is if Kerry Condon, can win for Best Supporting Actress. However, I am still going to say Angela Bassett, though. And my plan was, I have stated this kind of before, that I was planning Kerry Condon to pull the Mark Rylance thing, where Condon would win the BAFTA only and to give the Oscar. The major difference is the dates of the ceremony. BAFTAs was just this past Sunday. SAG is this upcoming Sunday. So, if Banshees kind of wins Ensemble without Condon winning, it would be an open-air question mark. But if Condon wins for Supporting Actress and if the film wins Ensemble and PGA, Condon's basically got it. Some people think Jamie Lee Curtis could do this. And some people are questioning why Bassett is winning this for a performance that's only like 2 scenes, and that's basically it. But it's like more of a career thing, why she is winning this. And not to mention, SAG has a lot of voters, more so than the Oscars. And one thing SAG is really notable for is giving a lot of wins to people of color, like giving diverse winners. As we saw 2 years ago in 2020 in the individual acting categories, we had Chadwick Boseman, Viola Davis, Daniel Kaluuya, and Yoo Jung-young. And then last year we saw Ariana DeBose, Will Smith, and technically for the deaf community, Troy Kotsur. Jessica Chastain was just the only normal one. And there's always that one person from the diverse group that could usually win this. They kind of either do one or two. And the supporting categories are the most likely ones. And that's why, just for this year alone. And that is Angela Bassett will win for Supporting Actress. Although we kind of now know who is the runner-up for supporting actor with Barry Keoghan, Ke Huy Quan, who surprisingly had not got a full sleep this season. That's kind of a shocker. Will still win here SAG regardless. And then here comes actress. Some people think Michelle Yeoh could still win lead actress. But Cate Blanchett is not being loose. That's probably the only major sweep we know for a fact this season. But don't worry, Yeoh will get something else later on this ceremony. And then for actor, Colin Farrell is now done. Unless for some reason he comes out of nowhere if they love Banshees so much. But it is the battle between Austin Butler and Bredan Fraser. Butler just come back a little bit by winning the BAFTA this past Sunday over Fraser, but that was because they loved Elvis so much, more so that they didn't even nominate for picture. Even though The Whale was a little bit liked more, it wasn't in picture, though. I don't think it didn't even make it in the long list for Best Picture, by the way. And here, both of them are just, Butler and Fraser are the only nominations for their, Butler's the only nomination for Elvis, but Fraser has Hong Chow behind her, and yeah, it's going to be Bredan Fraser. I think this is Fraser's last chance to make it a 2v2 battle. So, and I think maybe his speech at SAG will help him get that Oscar win. So I am going to be saying Bredan Fraser here over Austin Butler because Fraser does have Hong Chow behind him, but Elvis does not have any other nominations other than Austin Butler. It's not even for Hanks for supporting actor or for ensemble. And then for ensemble, as I kind of mentioned, it is the open air between Banshees and everything, so this could be the chance to give at least the entire cast of Banshees something, but that depends. If we see it win PGA, it could end up winning in SAG Ensemble as well, if they also have Kerry Condon win supporting actress to show it's a bigger Best Picture threat. Women talking is the other option here to go with here, because it is a big female cast members here. And obviously, if this shows if it wins ensemble, Sarah Polley is 100% getting the Oscar for adapted screenplay. And maybe might be more 9th or 10th. Like, right now, I think it's the least likely to win Best Picture of the Oscars because it only has that one nomination. But it could go up to 9th if it wins this ensemble prize. If it doesn't, I might stick it at 10th place. But it will depend on how everything else goes on throughout this season. Because it's like that and Triangle of Sadness, I think, are the 10th, the bottom two, I would say. But this is everything Everworld wants. I mean, this is the chance to give Jamie Lee Curtis, Stephanie Hsu, you can give Ke Huy Quan another one, Jenny Slate would have one, James Hong, Harry Shum Jr., and of course, you would have Michelle Yeoh, and she would probably be the one that has to make the speech. Unless they would go with Jamie Lee Curtis, just because she's the most popular one, I would say, out of all the cast, because she's in the Halloween series, even though Yeoh is also popular as well. But you have to have Michelle Yeoh speak, not Jamie Lee Curtis. If Yeoh does not win lead actress, though, if Yeoh wins lead actress, then you can have Jamie Lee Curtis speak. But if she doesn't, Yeoh has to speak for the ensemble cast if they win here. Also, I forgot to mention stunt ensemble. I completely forgot that. I forgot to mention this here real quick. Black Panther: Wakanda Forever. I think they're gonna go 2v2 here, kind of like they did with Wonder Woman. I know Top Gun makes the most sense, or The Woman King, or any of the others, but it's gonna be Black Panther, both like they did with the Wonder Woman movie. So that's basically it for this span of like almost 15 minutes. Next week will be the last two major award shows prior to the Oscars, the last Guild Award, the Writers Guild, and the show honoring the independent films with the Spirit Awards next weekend.